It's normal. It's all part of the game and it's no drama. It's not such a difficult thing to get out. I could just lower the tyre pressures here and pull straight out, but these vehicles are really well equipped. We don't need to go through the hassle of letting the tyres down and re-inflating them. There's another way. The really good news is that the differential here isn't touching the sand. If that was, then the weight of the vehicle is supported by it and it would be a much bigger job of digging. So what I think I'll do is just remove the sand that's impeding the progress of the rear wheels and be out of here real quick. These are sand mats or sand ladders, whatever you want to call them, and they're excellent because they can basically give you a road surface to drive on in soft sand. Of course, I don't want to stop too quickly once I get out of the sand, so there's one last trick, so I bring these with me. Now, if there's one place you don't want anybody to stand when you're using these mats, it's right behind the vehicle, because they can be thrown out by the wheels at high speed. I once saw that happen in Zaire. A man was standing here, the vehicle moved forward, the sand mats came back and hit him across the shins, cutting him to the bone. Well, there you go. The vehicle's on hard ground and the sand mats are with me. I don't have to go back for them. And of course, efficiency is a basic principle when you're out in the outback. Deserts are such extreme places that they've produced many tales of endurance and survival, from the earliest travellers right up to the present day. Like the story of Robert Martin, a young German who was working for an oil company in the desert in Oman. New Year's Eve 1998 was supposed to be Robert Martin's last night in the desert before leaving Oman. He spent it camping with a colleague, but on their way back they got bogged in soft sand. Robert knew how to get himself out and used an air jack to get the car free. By plugging onto the exhaust, it lets the car do the work of digging itself out. But in his haste, he made a mistake.
I put the air jack under the tank, and that must have caused the fuel pump, which was inside the tank, to break off its fixings.
He got the vehicle out, but the damage to the fuel pump had already been done.
On the rattling road afterwards, it must have got disconnected, and that's why the vehicle stopped. I only know this by now. Then I didn't know, otherwise I could have solved the problem maybe, but yeah, that's why the vehicle stopped. We tried to start it again, were not very successful, so we decided, as it was late in the afternoon already, to stay overnight and try it the next morning.
Robert was trained in desert survival, so even though he and his friend Regina were only a few miles from the nearest village, he knew their best chance of survival was to stay with the vehicle. He'd left details of his route with friends and was confident that they would raise the alarm within 3 days.
We counted the amount of food and water we had and calculated how much time it would take a search party approximately to find us. And our calculation was, latest after 3 days they would start searching for us, and it would take the search party approximately 3 days to find us. And by just remembering this calculation, we didn't lose hope.
Confident of being found, they made cards and board games to pass the time. But days passed slowly with little food and no sign of anyone.
We were expecting somebody to pass by, but nobody at all was passing by or even seen in the distance. It was absolutely a deserted area.
Soon they'd run out of things to say to each other, and as the wait stretched out, the walk to the village must have been ever more appealing.
We were tempted in the beginning, but it was a decision we made right in the beginning. We said, we stay. That's what I always was told, and that's what everybody will expect from me. And it paid back that we stayed with the vehicle, because a colleague of mine was asked, will I be staying with the vehicle? And he said, yeah, he's German. He was told to stay with the vehicle. He will stay.
Sure that a search would be underway, Robert and Regina collected firewood in preparation for a signal fire. On the fourth day, they finally heard their first helicopter.
We saw the helicopter a couple of times, and we were always surprised why they didn't see us.
The smoke from their fire was too thin to be seen.
One day they came close, about 500 meters, and we were surprised why they were just leaving.
It wasn't until they lit a tire from the car that the helicopter finally spotted them. It was only then, after 8 days in the desert, that they were rescued, and they could see why it had taken so long for the helicopter to find them.
After we were picked up by the helicopter, and we were looking down from just 200 meters, we couldn't see the car anymore. So, very difficult for a helicopter to find.
Robert did everything right, but it still took a week to find him. One more day, and he reckons he'd have had to set off on foot. And if that happened, his chances of being found would have been virtually nil. If you do break down, you've no idea how long you're going to be stuck, so assume the worst. Out here, every decision is life or death, so stick to the rules. The first rule of desert survival is always stay with your vehicle, and the second rule, get in the shade. I always carry a parachute with me because they're ideal for creating shelter. And that's another reason why you should always stay with your vehicle. It's not just the most visible thing you've got, it's a huge emergency kit. Right, that's the shade arranged. What I've done is I've taken the parachute and I've doubled it to create this airspace here. That helps to make very effective insulation from the sun's rays. But of course the sand is incredibly hot, so what I need to arrange now is something to sit on. The great thing about Land Rovers is you can easily lift out the seats, just what I need. Well, that's great. Now I'm comfortable. And the important thing about having shade is it enables me to think clearly. If you're trying to make important decisions about survival under the baking heat of the sun, it's very difficult to make the right ones. So stay calm, keep your mouth shut and roll your sleeves down. You've got to do everything to conserve moisture. And when it comes to water, you have to be sensible. You don't want to over-ration it, because it's no good in here. It's got to be inside you if it's going to help you. So don't waste it, but do drink. To see just how much water you need in desert temperatures, we asked our researcher Matt to do some real research. We put him in a sauna for 4 hours with plenty of water to see how much he needs to sweat in order to maintain an even body temperature.
There are approximately 2 million sweat glands throughout the body, and basically what they're doing is they're secreting a layer of water and electrolytes and other substances which spreads along the surface of the body and then evaporates, and it's that process of evaporation which is removing heat from the body. If it didn't do that, then your body temperature would rise from 37 degrees centigrade to 43, 44 in a matter of an hour.
By which time Matt would be very dead.
Well, Matt is actually very comfortable. He has been in the sauna for some time now. He's sweating approximately